Now, even though we never actually registered our horse with a stable, the horse should still be there. I think we left it to the north. I think the last horse that we rode that wasn't registered is still on the map somewhere. It just doesn't show us on the map that it's there. But the horse should still be there, I believe. I hope I'm not mistaken. It should be here. Oh, these things are probably going to kill me, though. Especially if one has a bow. If one has a bow, we might be in trouble. Because those things generally spawn with really strong bows. Is the horse down there? There you are. Okay, so we're going to have a job of getting you out of here. So we're going... yeah, that is the direction we want to go. So we're going to probably just try riding directly across the field. Which means getting in harm's way. Alright, buddy, you're gonna have to get a move on. You're gonna have to get a move on, horse. Horse, please. Alright, horse, you're a lost cause. Thanks, horse. So clearly the horse doesn't want to go directly into harm's way. It's probably best to take it in the other direction, then. But I'm only giving this horse one more chance. After that, I'm just going to deem it's not worth it. Which direction was it in? Was it that way? I think it was that way. Gonna give it one more chance. Were you up here, horse? Did I get the chest down here? I assume I did. I did not. Strange. I'll take more. I don't mind. Alright, horse. Were you here? Could have sworn... If you weren't here, you were on this side. If you were somewhere, you're probably here. There you are. Okay. I am not sure how to go about this. Horse, I don't know why you turned that... Why did you turn that direction? Hello? I have no idea what they were doing. This horse is not going to be worth it. This horse is not going to be worth it. He's still following me. Okay, if I wait long enough, they will despawn. Horse, I swear, you will literally be the end of me. I could have escaped just as easily without you. I came back to save you specifically. But apparently it wants none of that. The thing is... I do remember it being tricky to get around here too. Because I think the Skywatchers are around. And I also forget where the nearest stable is. It is not here, I don't think. Yeah, this is heading towards one of the areas that I mentioned that we would be forced to go through anyway, so I think I'll just leave it for later. We'll find another way around. Hopefully one that doesn't kill us. It'd be really nice to find a place that doesn't kill us. Actually, you're a bombable wall. I like how the horse isn't phased at all. It's just a rock. Probably nothing. I don't like the direction that you're going, horse. Well, this is an interesting problem. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. I think we're damned. It's okay, horse. Just run. Alright, we're away from that. We're not away from that. Okay, but that was just the one that was planted in the floor. We're fine. Alright, I think whatever one we find... You look like a spider for a moment there. Whichever one we find next, whatever bridge, there should be something that way, if memory serves. Usually if you just ride along the path, you'll find a stable before too long. I forget if that's a path. Oh, it's above there. We'll keep going. Plenty of sights to see. That's a big dude. Let's not fight him. So you remember, not too long ago we fought a skeleton thing that looked like that. That's a living one of those things. I think we should probably just stick to the path and find a stable to bring this guy into. At some point we should be able to cross the river. That's a big bird-looking thing. That's a big... Oh, no, that doesn't cross the way either. There's the tower. Got a nice vantage point to fly down to it if we want to. Probably wouldn't be too much of a climb. There are only a select few places that you can actually cross the river, and I generally forget where most of them are. I didn't think that you could make that jump. You are a lot braver of a horse than I gave you credit for. I didn't expect you to want to go down this hill. It's okay, horse. You don't have to go full speed down the hill, but we'll just go. Nice and slow. There you go. So I think we're heading back to the plateau. This is about where we started. And you can see over in the distance are the dueling peaks. That's what the king directed us to go to. Uh-oh. Somebody's in trouble. Alright, horse, you stay here. I'll take care of this. You didn't even see me coming. You almost killed me. There you go. How you feeling, guy? It's not a sword, it's a spear, but I understand. I'm sure you will. So they dropped stuff. Stuff that isn't any better than what we have, because naturally we were in the endgame. These two are treasure hunters, they hunt treasure. I'm not sure why they continue hunting treasure with how dangerous it is, but, you know, to each their own. And of course the horse just runs all the way away from the fray. It can't possibly be bothered. Life preservation takes priority, and I understand that. And I guess while we're distracted, there's a shrine over here too, so it's not all that bad. Alright, so we'll just park right in front of the shrine. And see what's in this one. I'm sure you can see it by now how easy it is to get distracted and taken completely out of whatever direction you were intending to go at the time. So there aren't that many shrines that are like this where it feels like a proper dungeon. This one in particular is about as long as a proper dungeon. Well, maybe not, okay, not as long as a proper dungeon, but it feels more like a proper dungeon than a lot of the other ones. In that it takes a mechanic and it lasts long enough to be interesting. Like, it does a lot of different things. Will you actually attack me? Guardian weapons are generally more powerful against Guardians, by the way. Are you going to attack me? I don't think he wants to attack me. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever seen a Guardian just not attack. But I guess there's no point in using that. Now, I think for this they expect... Why do I have shock arrows equipped? I didn't think I had shock arrows equipped. But there are a lot of different things going on in this particular shrine that all revolve around a similar mechanic. And it's one of the few cases of a shrine that feels like a proper dungeon in that respect. Where it takes an idea, it builds on that idea, does it a bunch of different ways. And you have to be actually... The camera actually has to be facing the chest in order for the chest to open. I don't know why they made that decision, but they did. It's one of the few shrines that takes an idea and runs with it in many different ways that you don't see done too much in this game. So many good weapons! I think I'll pass on that. Now, if I remember, this is one dungeon that we can cheese a bit. So let me see if I can do that. I wonder if I have a weapon that's capable of doing that. Do I? I wonder if I can do it with this. I can. Is it not strong enough? Maybe the hammer's strong enough. I know you can do it with the hammer. I guess you can't do it with anything lighter than a hammer. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Oh well, I guess we'll show the whole thing. This thing would tilt if we didn't stasis it. So that's the reason we did that. But it's also cool that this incorporates a lot of elements from a bunch of other shrines as well, including this thing, which operates on motion control. So if you were wondering if you were going to get away with a Wii U game that didn't make use of the motion control, you were wrong. We're not so lucky. I'm so glad I got that. You're not supposed to be able to fling that ball all the way over the wall. It's supposed to go straight into the hole like that. But I think it's hilarious that you can actually fling it over the wall and it doesn't even bounce back, it just immediately disappears. There's a lot of that in this game. people like to discuss what the intended or unintended solutions are to these puzzles, but as we go through more and more of these, I think you'll notice that just because a puzzle has multiple decisions doesn't necessarily mean that one is intended. It just means that one of them was slightly more likely to be found than another based on how the game was constructed. I'm not really sure how else to describe it. The game has multiple solutions for similar puzzles. And just because one is more obvious than another doesn't necessarily mean that the less obvious solution wasn't intended. In a lot of cases, the less obvious solutions are pretty clearly intended to exist, just more difficult to find. So I guess it's a problem with the way some people like to choose their words. But I think it's a pretty important distinction to make, that just because a solution isn't the most obvious doesn't mean it was unintended. And there are a lot of really creative solutions to these shrines. But puzzle solving and dungeoning are two of the things that I generally enjoy the most about Zelda games. And admittedly, this game toned them down a bit, kind of strewn them all over the place in the way of making these shrines. So they're a lot more, well, they're fewer and farther between, I guess, is what I want to say. That they're generally chosen or used in lieu of proper dungeons. Whereas previous games had almost a dozen different dungeons, this game is a bit lighter on them. And they're a bit different, as you would probably imagine, based on what you've seen of the game so far. But everything, all of the design decisions that were made, all revolve around the central themes of exploration, discovery, and experimentation. Just the wide open world that you have to explore, all of the different tools you have at your disposal to conquer any challenge that's presented to you, and the thrill of finding all of the hidden details and secrets throughout the massive overworld that you may have overlooked, even passing through it a few dozen times or so. There's always something new to find, always something fresh. It's the kind of thing that makes it really difficult to put an open world game down. And Breath of the Wild does that just about as well as any other game I've played. Now, to be fair, I don't play many open world games. I'm not a big MOBA guy, I'm not big on... I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I guess the Elder Scrolls games, heard good things about The Witcher. But they're not generally my kind of game. So this is my first exposure to this particular kind of game, I suppose. And I guess it opened my eyes to a genre that I probably wouldn't have explored much otherwise. The kind of game that just throws you into a world and says, go, see what you can do, see what you can find, and enjoy the ride. I don't think that's where the... I keep looking for the stable, and I'm not sure if that's the one for the stable. Is it? Maybe? I don't remember. You should be getting close to one, I think. You'll also notice a lot of landmarks are named for previous Zelda games, characters, locations, what have you. And we won't be seeing many of them since I have the minimap completely disabled. Oh, this is this one! I wonder if I can just fly down there from here and skip it entirely. That would be nice. I can. Alright, so we're just going to pretend that was a difficult shrine to get to. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Alright, so this is one where I think you're intended to use Cryonis. I remember there are two shrines that are similar in idea, like this. And I often confuse them with each other. Alright, let's see if we can get the treasure chest to stick on that ice cube. Is there another one floating around? Doesn't look like it. Also, those are bomb barrels that are floating around. They will explode. I think the explosion of the bomb barrel is actually what hurt me. But when you complete a shrine, you're fully healed. So there's no reason for me to use a healing item there. And now we have 4 spirit orbs again. And now the question is, do I try to get out of this normal... I didn't notice there was a hardy radish over there. Oh, I guess I'll show off why it's supposed to be difficult to get to this shrine. If you step on the flower, the lady just teleports you back outside of the ring. So now we get what's a side quest whose prize is a shrine. But we've already gotten the shrine, so we pass it. Kinda silly. But now we have to climb all the way back up to get our horse again. Well, I was trying to stand on it, but of course it's ice and it's slippery. Now again, it's nice that even if we haven't registered the horse yet, that the horse will still be there even if we travel to the other side of the map. It still doesn't obey us as well, because we haven't registered it. We should have max affection with it by now, I would imagine. Oh hey, it's a guy on a horse. Hey, guy on a horse. Well, I do have a horse, I think. Oh, there's another guy on a horse. I get it. So usually if there are other people on horses, a stable isn't too far away. But I think I saw a shrine down there too, and now I'm getting a bit sidetracked. This is heading towards another place that is not the place I wanted to go. Dang it, this happens so much. This is heading towards one of the 4 places that I was discussing earlier. And depending on when this goes up, the straw poll may still be there. If the straw poll is in the video description for choosing which of the 4 places I go to first, then you still have time to vote. But if it's not there, then that means that I've already started recording that segment. I don't know how far ahead I'll be recording these, so I'm not 100% certain. See, I see a shrine over there, but I also know that that's another not stable. Alright, horse. You make friends with the lizards, I'll be back. Horses and lizards get along, right? That won't be a problem. I'm sure it won't be a problem. Okay, so this one, Sunken Scoop. The idea is you take a ball, you throw it in there, and that opens the door. It has to be a ball. For whatever reason, you can't just drop the bowl, it has to be the ball. So you go down, you scoop up the ball, and now we have to put the ball on there. The problem is, magnesis doesn't always work the way you expect it to. It works predictably if you understand the mechanics, but it's not the easiest thing to understand. I think if it's against the wall, it's going to give us even more difficulty. So let's try to keep it in the bowl carefully. Up. There you go. Okay, so now we'll push it against the wall so the ball stays there. And we'll drop the bowl on the button. That'll open that up. Drop the ball in the hole. And drain the water. And I forget where the treasure chest is in here? Did we even find one? I'm sure there's one in there somewhere and I just forgot about it. All of the shrines have treasure chests. Even the ones that I was thinking of.